Hey everyone, it's City Michelle here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you can tell by the title of the video, this is my clinical rotation recap video. It has now been almost 2 weeks since I finished my first clinical rotation for physical therapy school. And guys, I cannot believe how time is flying, really. It's ridiculous how fast everything is going. But let's just get right into the video. So if you don't know, if you haven't been following my channel, I am a now second year in Washington University in St. Louis's Doctor of Physical Therapy program. And I just finished my first clinical rotation located in Dallas, Texas in the Bishop Arts area at Viverant Physical Therapy, which is located inside of the Anytime Fitness down there. Pretty cool setup. I worked with my CI, which stands for clinical instructor, was Emily Thoes. I will put a little picture of her right here. Beautiful soul, beautiful being. She is so knowledgeable and funny and amazing. So I learned so much from her, but I will get into that later in the video. So my first clinical rotation out of 4 throughout the duration of physical therapy school was 8 weeks long. I got down to Dallas in May. I started in the beginning of May, and my last week was the week before June ended. So 8 weeks total, ran straight through it, went by so fast. But I learned so much within those 8 weeks. I can't even explain how many concepts have been integrated now from learning during my didactic semesters and getting to apply all of that knowledge to real world situations. Working with real patients is completely different than working on your classmates who have nothing wrong with them. So that was one of the main reasons why I had such a great time at my first clinical rotation. So like I said, Viverant was located inside of the Anytime Fitness, which is a gym down in Dallas. They also have some in Chicago. I did not know that. Viverant has their own treatment room inside of the gym, which was pretty cool because we got to use the gym equipment and we got to collab with the personal trainers that work there. It was a pretty cool dynamic working there, being able to see the PT side of things and also seeing the personal training side of things. And then watching that come all together after we work with patients and we send them off to personal trainers if they want, just to increase their strength and longevity and reduce their risk of re-injury ultimately. So that was pretty cool. So types of patients, I was in an outpatient ortho setting. I forgot to say that. Outpatient ortho, I saw a lot of musculoskeletal impairments and post-op patients while I was at Viverant. Things like hip arthroscopies, Achilles tendon ruptures, ACL replacements. I did see some costochondritis, that was different. Low back pain, shoulder impingement, hip impingement, bicep tendon strains, upper trap pain. I'm looking back and forth between my phone and my iPad because I can't remember everything that I saw because I saw a lot of people. In regard to age range, I saw between ages from 10 to 80 years old, so it's pretty wide range, averaging about 40 or so years old, late 30s, early 40s were majority of the patients there. And one thing I really enjoyed while working there was working with patients who were knowledgeable about their bodies and self-awareness of pain that's not supposed to be there compared to, say, muscle soreness. People who had a general idea of what was really going on with their bodies, and even the patients that didn't really know, it was still really nice working with them because everyone wanted to be in therapy. That was the best part about working with the patients there, because everyone wanted to get better. Mind you, therapy is hard. Nothing about therapy is easy, especially if you're post-op, if you're just recovering from an injury. Therapy is hard, and mentally that can be very draining. And I understand completely if someone does not want to come to therapy because it's a lot, physically and mentally. I had the chance to work with people who really wanted to get better, which was awesome because it made my job 10 times more fun, because I got to see people recover from their injuries or their post-op surgeries and gain strength. It was really amazing seeing the transformations from, you know, beginning of therapy to middle or end of therapy for some of the patients. So moving on, what I learned a lot from Emily. Emily put me through the ringer from day one, and I appreciate her for it, because that's the best way to learn, honestly, is she will always shoot questions at me, things that I should have learned back during my first 2 semesters of PT school. So it was cool getting that recall together and spitting out information that I really didn't think I knew or remembered, but somewhere in the brain back there, it was in there. Some stuff I didn't know, which is okay, and she would let me know the answer and the reasoning, clinical reasoning behind it. I know so many exercises pertaining to different parts of the body depending on what's going on with the patient. I learned a lot of special testing, because at WashU we haven't learned special testing yet. I believe we're going to learn that in our 2nd year, so I'm looking forward to that as well. And I'm glad I'm able to get a jump start on that, on different special tests to administer based on the injury or pain. I also got a chance to work on my clinical decision-making skills, which was really beneficial, because clinical reasoning is probably one of the top skills that you need as a physical therapist. You need to understand why you're choosing the things that you do with your patients, and how is that going to make them better at the end of the day, and how to progress that as well. I also learned a lot of modalities like dry needling and e-stimulation. Emily allowed me to test out those modalities on myself. She did the dry needling, but we worked on e-stim together and all that type of stuff, which is really cool, because I've seen modalities be administered, but I've never actually felt them on myself. So it was a pretty cool experience. I'll insert a picture right here of when she dry needled me. I didn't take a picture of the e-stim, but I'll put a picture of what e-stim looks like as well. Also learned a lot of documentation. Oh my goodness. Prior to coming to PT school, I heard a lot about documentation and how tedious it can be as a physical therapist, and that's what takes a majority of our time as physical therapists, is not even actually seeing the patients, is typing out the notes of everything that you've done while in those therapy sessions. And let me tell you, it was a lot of work. However, in the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing at all, but Emily taught me how to do daily notes, evaluation notes, progress notes, all the types of notes, and now I feel confident on them, especially daily notes. I got really good at those. Eval notes take a long time, a very long time, but I got it down. I went through my subjective, if you know, SOAP notes, they come in handy. They do. Subjective, objective assessment, and plan. Oh my gosh, I could not think of the P. Plan of care, Sydney. But yes, documentation was a lot, and that's all I have to say about that. I also got to learn a lot of the business side of PT. With Emily being at Viverant, she's the only Viverant location located in Texas. So she was the only PT in essentially the entire state that worked for Viverant. So she had to go out and do her own marketing at different doctor's offices, hospitals, podiatry clinics, like any type of healthcare, even different gyms or anything that really had to do with health or wellness. So we would always drive around and drop off goodie bags with information about Viverant and her free movement assessments that she would offer to patients. We even stopped at a firehouse one time to drop off some free movement assessments to the firefighters, which was really cool, because I would never think of doing anything like that. But if you think about the rigorous tasks that firefighters have to maneuver through every day on a daily basis, there's gonna be some pain. Somebody's gonna have some pain after, fighting fires and carrying people out of burning buildings. You're gonna have some pain. So that was really smart on her end. That's something I would have never thought of. It was just really cool seeing the marketing side of things with PT, because you really, especially as a student, you don't really get those types of experiences solely because most of the time there's not only a single physical therapist in a clinic, or you have your bosses there that do marketing for you. So that was a pretty cool experience, being able to see the business side of things. And that would be really helpful for me if I'm ever in that type of situation like she was by herself, and having to reach out to people to get more patients in. Because, I also forgot to say, her caseload wasn't as heavy as the average physical therapist, because Viverant just opened their clinic down there last August. So she was still building her caseload. We saw an average of 6 to 7 patients per day. We did have some slow weeks, but I did still get to see a variety of impairments and different types of pain. But overall, the experience was nothing short of amazing. I really appreciate Emily so much for everything that she taught me over the 8 weeks. We're now friends because clinical is over, so we get to be friends now. And she's just a really cool person. If y'all ever need a CI or anything, I really don't know how that works, but if y'all ever need a CI, Emily Thoes is the way to go, because you'll learn a lot from her. She's super knowledgeable, super smart, knows a lot, and I just aspire to be like her one day, honestly. But yeah, let's talk about the next steps now that clinical experience 1 is over and done with. So now that CE1 is over, it has now been 2 weeks, like I said earlier, since my final day at Viverant. I'm now back in Chicago. I am officially on summer break, and this is my last summer break of my life, guys. This is really wild. I've had summer break since I was, a baby? But this is officially my last summer break as a student, because next year we will, as second years, we have our second clinical experience in January. And then we go to class all the way until the end of June, and after that we get a week off, and then we start CE3. And right after CE3 is over, CE4 starts, and after CE4 is our last semester of PT school. So, and then we graduate in 2024. So yeah, guys, this is my last summer break. I am spending this month of July relaxing. My birthday is at the end of the month, and I'm currently planning that out, whatever that may be. I will be 24. Yeah, I've just been really enjoying spending time with my family and my friends. And we start school back up August 15th. So I'm gonna get that together. I have to go back to St. Louis eventually to get moved out of my apartment and moved into my new apartment. Yeah, I mean, in between there, I'm just having fun, having fun and relaxing before school starts again, and I have to start studying for exams and all that jazz. Okay, so I know this is what everyone's been waiting for, because man, although I had one of the best first clinical rotations ever, I went through a lot in Dallas. And I don't even think I explained to you guys in my previous Dallas travel vlog video, where I said that I ended up leaving St. Louis late to go to Dallas because of my car issues. So guys, in April, my car had a major oil leak. And this was 2 weeks before I had to leave to drive to Dallas to start CE1. So my car, I took my car to the dealership and they didn't finish with my car until one day after I was supposed to leave to go. So it wasn't too bad, but I was stressed because I didn't know if my car was going to be ready in time for me to drive down to Dallas to start my clinical on time. I thought I was going to have to push back my clinical, and I just didn't want to do that. It was a lot going on. I was so stressed. Thankfully, they finished my car and I hit the road that Saturday, got out of there, and everything was fine. So up until 2 weeks before I was supposed to come back to Chicago or drive back to Chicago or St. Louis, I was supposed to go back to St. Louis first. Janae and I were in downtown Dallas going somewhere, and when I parked my car, my oil light came on and said that my oil was low, it needed to be changed. Now, I knew that was a red flag because I just got my oil changed not even 2 months ago, so it shouldn't be low, right? It shouldn't be. So I had the oil dipstick checked, and the oil line was like right at the tip of the oil stick thing. So that meant that my oil was leaking once again. They did not fix the problem. They patched it probably. So after that, I went to AutoZone, asked them to fill up my oil tank because oil tank, is that right? I don't know. I know nothing about cars, guys, nothing. So I bought some oil. I asked them to put it in there. The guy put all the oil in. You know, I don't know anything. So he puts the whole 5 quarts into my car. And not even a mile later, I look in my rear view mirror and there's so much smoke coming out of my muffler. So I pull over immediately. It was clear smoke, by the way. Pull over and I'm like freaking out because my phone is dead. Janae's phone is dead. This is like towards the end of the day. It's like 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. So thankfully, by coincidence, there were two police cars down the street from where I pulled over because there was a car accident or something that was going on. So me and Janae walked to the police officers, asked them for help. They told me to drive the car up to where they were parked and to park it in this garage that was some random garage. I don't know, just to get it out the street because it was in the way. So police officer checks my oil gauge and he's like, oh, they filled this up way too much. So you remember how I told you it was like at the bottom? Now it was like all the way at the top. So assuming it's not supposed to be like that, ultimately the AutoZone guy messed up my turbos that I just got replaced. So long story short, my friend comes and rescues us from the trenches because we don't know where we were at that time. The police officers did charge our phone up a little bit in their car, so very thankful for them. But long story short, I ended up having to get my car towed back to Arlington from Dallas where it stopped, and then got it towed to a Ford dealership that wasn't too far away. So, dealership. All the dealerships in Texas booked for a month. They said they couldn't even look at my car for 2 weeks. And mind you, I was supposed to leave Dallas in 2 weeks to go back to St. Louis, to drive back there. So, and they were talking about just to look at my car. So, ended up talking to my cousin. He told me about a different mechanic shop that could probably look at it that same day. So we ended up going to Christian Brothers, and they did a really good job. They were super friendly. Shout out to Holly because she was really nice. Customer service was awesome. Ford customer service, terrible. Don't even get me started on them. So basically, to make the long story super, super short, instead of me driving back to St. Louis, I ended up catching a flight back to Chicago, leaving my car in Dallas for it to be shipped back to Chicago because I couldn't drive it. It wasn't drivable. And we didn't know what we were going to do with it at that time. But fast forward more now. My mom just sold my car yesterday to CarMax, so I don't have a car right now. And there was so much more to the car story that it was just a lot, and having to deal with that on top of assignments, because we did have assignments to do during clinicals. A good chunk of assignments that we had to do, like a reflective journal. We had to complete our CPI, which is like an evaluation type thing. We had to evaluate our clinical instructor. We had to make we had to do an in-service, which was a presentation on a topic that related to a patient of yours, and that involved an intervention. So I chose Tai Chi and what effects Tai Chi has on patients with Parkinson's disease. And I can link the article below because it was a really cool article. Also, I'll put my little presentation right here. So yeah, it was a lot, and all this was going on during my final week of clinical. And I was wondering, like, how am I going to get my stuff home? Because I brought a lot of stuff because I drove down from St. Louis to Dallas. Like, I can't take this stuff on the plane. I had my desktop with me because I brought that down there to do YouTube videos. So shout out to Janae, because she took majority of my items that I had at the Airbnb and took them. She drove back to Houston with them. So thank you, Janae. Still appreciative of that as well. Ended up shipping my desktop for like $100 and some. A lot of money has been spent and wasted, but I made it back. I finished my clinical. I passed my clinical. That's a really important aspect. And I had a great time during it. Me and Janae had a ball. We went out pretty much every weekend, and I met so many amazing people that I really appreciate. And I will definitely be in Dallas again. But yeah, this video is getting a little lengthy, so I'm going to just end it here. I'm just going to put out there, like, if you guys have any questions about anything that I may have missed, because I probably have, I don't know, it was a lot during CE1, but you live and you learn, so it is what it is at the end of the day. I made it back home, and now we're moving forward to second year of PT school. It's going by fast, y'all. The next video is probably going to be me graduating. I don't know, like, this is insane. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, y'all. I would truly appreciate it. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. We are more than halfway there now, and I truly appreciate everyone who has subscribed to my channel. I still check my analytics, and majority of the people that watch my videos still aren't subscribed to me. So please, if you enjoy my content, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching, and I will see y'all later.